Bolivia, officially known as the plurinational state of Bolivia, is a landlocked country located in the heart of South America. Its unique geography, rich cultural heritage, and diverse history make it one of the most intriguing countries on the continent. Bolivia shares borders with 5 countries: Argentina to the south, Chile to the southwest, Peru to the northwest, Brazil to the north and east, and Paraguay to the southeast. Geography: Bolivia is known for its diverse landscapes, ranging from high-altitude plateaus and snow-capped mountains to lowland tropical rainforests. The country can be divided into several distinct geographic regions: the Andean highlands, the valleys, and the eastern lowlands. The Andean highlands dominate the western part of Bolivia, with the Altiplano of vast plateau lying at an average elevation of over 12,000 feet, 3,660 meters, above sea level. Here, you'll find the highest point in Bolivia, Nevado Sajama, which reaches 21,463 feet, 6,542 meters. The city of La Paz, the seat of government, is situated in a deep valley at an altitude of 11,942 feet, 3,650 meters, making it one of the highest capital cities in the world. Near La Paz lies the Lake Titicaca, the largest freshwater lake in South America by volume, which straddles the border between Bolivia and Peru. In contrast, the eastern lowlands are characterized by lush rainforests and wetlands, particularly in regions like the Chaco and Amazon basin. These areas are home to some of the most biodiverse ecosystems on the planet, making Bolivia an important country for conservation. History: Bolivia's history is marked by a blend of indigenous cultures, colonialism, and independence movements. Prior to Spanish colonization in the 16th century, the region was home to a number of powerful indigenous civilizations, including the Tiwanaku culture and later the Inca Empire. The Inca Empire, which stretched across much of the Andes, incorporated much of Bolivia, especially its highland regions. After Spanish forces arrived in the 16th century, Bolivia became part of the Viceroyalty of Peru. The exploitation of Bolivia's vast mineral resources, particularly silver from the famous Potosí mines, fueled the Spanish Empire but also led to the oppression of indigenous peoples. Bolivia gained its independence from Spain in 1825, following a series of wars led by revolutionary figures such as Simón Bolívar. The country was named after Bolívar, the Venezuelan leader who played a pivotal role in South American independence movements. Bolivia's early years of independence were marked by political instability, territorial disputes, and frequent changes in government. One of the most significant events in Bolivia's modern history was the War of the Pacific, 1879 to 1884, during which Bolivia lost its coastal territory to Chile, leaving it a landlocked nation. This loss has had lasting political and cultural consequences, and Bolivia has sought access to the sea ever since. Culture: Bolivia has a rich and diverse cultural heritage, shaped by its indigenous roots and colonial history. The majority of Bolivia's population is of indigenous descent, with major groups including the Quechua, Aymara, and Guarani peoples. These groups have preserved many traditional customs, languages, and crafts, and their influence is evident throughout the country, particularly in the highland regions. Bolivian culture is also strongly influenced by Spanish colonialism, which introduced European art, religion, and architecture. Catholicism is the dominant religion, and many Bolivian festivals and traditions have a blend of indigenous and Christian elements. Carnival in Bolivia is one of the most important celebrations, with colorful parades, music, and dance, particularly in Oruro, home to the famous Oruro Carnival, which is a UNESCO-listed cultural event. The traditional Andean music is an integral part of Bolivia's cultural identity, with instruments such as the charango, a small lute, quena, a type of flute, and panpipes being commonly used in performances. The Moreno dance and the caporales are also popular dances that reflect Bolivia's mix of indigenous and Spanish influences. Economy: Bolivia's economy is largely based on natural resources, particularly its rich deposits of minerals, natural gas, and lithium. Bolivia is one of the world's largest producers of tin and has substantial reserves of lithium, an increasingly valuable resource used in batteries for electric vehicles and electronic devices. Natural gas is another key resource, and Bolivia has significant reserves, particularly in the Chaco region. Despite these natural riches, Bolivia remains one of the poorest countries in South America. The economy faces challenges such as high inequality, limited infrastructure, and dependence on exports of raw materials. However, Bolivia has made strides in reducing poverty and increasing social services, especially under the leadership of Evo Morales, Bolivia's first indigenous president, who served from 2006 to 2019. Morales implemented policies aimed at nationalizing key industries and reducing the influence of foreign corporations. Politics. Bolivia is a presidential representative democratic republic. The president serves as both the head of state and the head of government, with the country also having a multi-party system. Bolivia's political landscape has been shaped by both democratic elections and periods of authoritarian rule. Evo Morales, who served as president for nearly 14 years, significantly reshaped the country's political system, enacting progressive social policies and promoting the rights of indigenous peoples. However, his presidency also saw tensions over his attempts to extend his term beyond the constitutionally limited period, leading to political unrest. In 2019, Morales resigned after allegations of election fraud, sparking protests and a period of instability. Janine Áñez briefly assumed the presidency, but in 2020, Bolivia held new elections, leading to the election of Luis Arce as president, a member of Morales' Movement for Socialism party. Conclusion. Bolivia is a country of contrasts, where ancient indigenous cultures coexist with modern political and economic changes. Its rich natural landscapes, vibrant traditions, and ongoing efforts for social justice make it a fascinating nation. While it continues to face challenges in terms of economic development and political stability, Bolivia's future holds promise, particularly with its natural resources and cultural heritage as key assets.